When I began this channel, I had this idea of how I would like it to be and to happen, but it is interesting because the idea itself, the first idea, is still here, and I intend to maintain it. And that idea would be the idea that I would do it as raw as I can, you know, just the moment, the idea in the flow, or a passage that I read, or a movie that I saw, or the process of creation of the mandalas themselves. The variety is limitless actually, because at some opportunity I got myself wondering what I would say, what I would talk about, but that goes against the purpose. That is just to flow with whatever comes, and that is very interesting because this channel now I'm using the internet, the YouTube more specifically, to express myself artistically, but in another way, in the verbal way, in the using the words, and I wanted to do that for some time now. Now I'm practicing this. It's been a great opportunity, I think, because every opportunity is a great opportunity when you can express yourself, when you can learn about yourself, why you express it. And that's something very human, and we all should do it. And I invite you to find in yourselves art, but that's a topic for another video. Today I want to just flow with this idea that I'm expressing myself here, and that would be the special thing about this. Of course, there is the art itself. It's unique itself. It's unique. It's a unique expression already. But I'm combining that with my words here, what I'm saying, and I hope that's being interesting for you all out there that are listening to me. And a great thanks to you. Okay, my friends. Thanks for the support and to be following me. But when we look at our reality, this dystopic reality in which we live in right now, that would be the cyberpunk world, that once was just an idea of science fiction, and now we live it on a daily basis. Now, what is very interesting, because the mainstream media is showing a lot of robots. And an interesting idea, because we know what is happening, and we know what is gonna happen. It's just you just have to look at reality and try and think about it for a moment. For example, the robots have been with us for some time now. The robotics is an old area of science already, but now it is in a state of complexity that it's calling our attention. The robots running fast, or dancing, or fighting kung fu, man, they're gonna do all the work in a few years, and that's gonna be scary for a lot of reasons, and it's gonna be very sad as well, because in countries, in not well developed countries, will be this social problem, because the robots are gonna take a lot of those jobs, or if not all of them. There is something to think about. But another aspect of that analysis is that when we just think about what we are looking for a second, we can go deep, because we are humans, regardless of our level of education or whatever. But we are so immersed in this reality, this material reality, that is taking our strength, is taking our capacity to focus, is taking our capacity to be humans. I mentioned that in another videos, and that really gets my attention, brothers and sisters. But when we look at reality, it's all about stories after all. You know what I mean? The stories we tell, the stories we told, the stories we are telling each other. Remember, it all began around the fire thousands and thousands of years ago. Men, women, children expressing themselves around the fire. That's very interesting to think about, because we are on that path. Regardless, we are just at a different stage, and in my opinion, that would be a lesser stage now. We had our time before, but that's it. I talked about that in another video. But my friends, for example, if I wanted to talk about this art I'm creating, this guy, this half orc holding this Jew that he just found, probably in nature. You know what I mean? When I paint these figures, you know, like the Dragon Man or these cyberpunk figures that are there in my feed, if you want to check it out, there are cyberpunk works there. And I'm painting myself because everything comes from the mandala. And the mandala is a portal towards the inner life of the being that is expressing through that mandala. You know what I mean? Is a trip within, and what comes out is a part of the one that is expressing. And in some measure, for example, this guy holding this jewel is me. Somehow, someplace, in some universe, somewhere out there. But of course, coming from this gigantic source, the unconscious, the collective unconscious, like Jung put out very wisely. You know what I mean? What is obvious to our faces is becoming difficult to reach. What is far away is becoming extremes that are destroying all of us. You know what I mean? The philosophy I most enjoy, that would be the Zen philosophy, or the philosophy of Zen, is about the simple. It's about the moment itself. It's about just doing the dishes, or taking a walk, or running, or eating, or talking, or expressing, or doing anything. It's just about the moment itself. And my friends, the moment is all there is. What we are doing right now, regardless, the past is just a memory, and the future is right now, because we are building it in every millisecond. That is very powerful to think about, my friends, but we are losing that, and we can't do less, because if we lose that completely, everything will be lost. Because the capacity to be in the moment is the most precious capacity, because everything is happening right now. For example, I'm creating this video, and I cannot even for a second to repeat that video the same way, exactly the same way, being this video or in this creation, an artistic creation that I just did. The moment holds all the answers and probably all the questions. That became a cliche, if you think so. In mainstream media, what is to live in the moment? That would be the person would be capable of something different. But my friends, the capacity to be in the moment is a capacity probably of all beings. All beings. But the level of consciousness probably is what differs all of that. Everything is consciousness. And each being is consciousness in its own way, and so are we. A complete cycle, the integration, the integrality of existence, with no beginning and no end. The sands are turning with the wind, creating spirals. The smoke keeps blowing, showing the horizon, and the sun answers. After all, everything is mandala.